Hey, Katrina here from Scrappy Horses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So happy you're here. I am working on a specimen folder for Crazy Cat's Saddlebag Journal. And it needed to be a specific size to fit inside the denim pocket that I made in the last video. So if you didn't see that, I will link it below and you can catch that one too. So anyway, I had to come up with my own folder and dimensions, and so I just played with shapes in Cricut Design Space and made my own folder. Now we have a front pocket, we have the actual folder, we have an inside pocket that wraps around and creates an outside pocket. There are title tabs, and then I also made a specimen window sort of card. It's just a rectangle that folds over and it has windows in it. I cut two of these two different sizes. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to this in Cricut Design Space. If you want it, go over and get it. I'm happy to share. So here are the different pieces that I cut on my Cricut. This is the actual folder itself. Then above that, this is the piece that will fold in and create sort of a slide folder along with a pocket on the back. And then there's the tab, and then there's our specimen slide piece. And the way this works is it just wraps around, and you'll see later in the video we will be gluing that into place. For now, I just want to get the folds put in so that they're nice and crisp. I cut this so it was round, so I wanted to make sure that it wrapped around exactly, and so I'm just sort of re-burnishing that a little bit. Here's the pocket that's going to go on the inside left side of the folder. I'm going to go in with my Pip pen and just color this window here a nice dark brown so it has a lot of contrast. And you can see that I've inked up that specimen piece. Next, I'm just going to come in and put the little brown part. This is just for cosmetics. It's just to make it look pretty. I'm going to glue that into place with my Barely Arts Precision Tip Glue. And that's all there is to that. Next, I want to go ahead and insert this pocket. This pocket does not fit down to the bottom on both sides, just on the inside. See, on the back, it's up a little bit. So I'm going to come around just that right side of the folder and the very bottom of the little pocket tab. I'm going to glue that right into place. And that gives me room to slide things in. Now this is going to work just like a pocket. I'm going to go along the bottom and one side, fold over, glue in, and then that creates the pocket on the back. Now as for the pocket on the inside, it's an actual pocket that sits up on top of the folder. So it's going to have a little more room in it. It's going to have a little more thickness to it. So I've glued those tabs into place, and now I just simply glue that into the folder. Let's work on the specimen piece. All right, so I have a security window here, and I'm just going to cut it to the size of that square, the inside square. Well, a little larger than the inside square, so that I've got room to glue that in. And I'm going to want two of those. So I've marked my pieces, and we'll cut 1 and 2. So one will be glued onto the front and one will be glued onto the back. Now, I like to use like security windows because they're very, very thin, and they're usually kind of scratched up too, which is great for this particular project. So I can come in now, glue those into place, and then I'm going to bring in a red or purple clover. I have plenty of this in my fields, so that was not a problem finding that. All I need to do is slip it in, put glue along my edges, and close it down. So I just want to make sure that my little bloom stays in place there and doesn't get over into the glue. So I'm going to close this very carefully, keeping my little clover there in the middle. I'm going to go ahead now and stick this inside a family circle cookbook that I use for flower drawing. So it's a nice big heavy book, and I'm going to stick my other bloom I didn't use back in where I have my other blooms. All right, so let's go back to that pocket. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put 3 pieces of double score tape, add a little bit of Fabric-Tac right around the edges there. And I'm having a little trouble with my glue there, but I got it done. And we're going to stick it right in there. Now, by not putting it along the top and in the middle, again, that creates 2 pocket spots for me. All right, I have this wonderful tissue. I think it's Tim Holtz Ranger. And I'm just ripping off some pieces that I like and that I'd like to use on the front of my folder. I'm getting some Liquitex medium out. I'm just going to cover that front part. And now I'm going to go over the top, making sure to cover all of the pieces there. And I'm adding some pieces on top of pieces just to add a little interest. Next, I'm going to come in and add a little, like it just looks like it's bound this way. So it's actually washi tape, and I'm just putting it along the edge. Now, you're going to find out later that it didn't stick. It's old washi tape, so I had to help it out a little bit. This tag that says warning is actually from a riding helmet, and I'm going to set an eyelet in there. And then this is actually from frayed jeans, you know, where you just pull the strings. So that's all that is. And I just glued that into the right side there. I added a little pip pen there and added my Specimen's tab. And that pretty much completed that part. So there I am adding a little bit of glue there to that tape. Now I'm coming in, I've got some breeches tags and the little K. And I'm going to put those together along with some pieces from this Skylark Close to My Heart collection here. And when I did this, it was like, oh, wait, that's sticky. So now I've got to do something. So I pulled that extra tab that I had cut in Cricut and just kind of sketched around it and cut it and stuck it there. Now I have the pieces on this little bookmark here. That little butterfly, I don't know where it came from. I think it was from a stash cleaning or something. But I added a little bit of double score tape, Fabric-Tac, and it stuck on there quite nicely. I'm adding the K to the breeches tag, and I'm going to put those together with some thread that I had left over from the binding of the book, actually. That's what I've just wrapped around there. There you can see the book binding there. And so now I've got this on my folder. All right, I'm using acetate now for this particular piece because it's rather large and I didn't have a security window large enough. So this acetate is very thin and I don't like it for some projects, but for this project I loved it because it is so thin. So this is the piece where I'm actually adhering to the front and the back, and I'm going to put in a piece of Queen Anne's lace. I was really surprised just how beautifully this dried, actually. I'm just gluing it together now, and I'm wiping off any dust or debris. Everything sticks to acetate. And I'm going to put that inside my cookbook. All right, next piece. Here we go. I am scruffing up, folding, and inking with some champagne ink, and I've got some brown ink out also here, some chocolate. And I have this stamp set, and I'm just stamping over. Now, this piece I needed to add some more ink here to this right side, but trust me, I did do that circle stamp. All right, moving on to the back of the folder. All right, I'm double dipping. I'm going chocolate, slate, chocolate, just for a warm gray look. And I like the way it looked. I thought it was really kind of a pretty color. And I put a little butterfly up there. Now I'm doing the same thing here, and I'm going to put half of a butterfly on this right side, and then I'm going to come in with a little bit of a trim piece here and just add a little more, just filling up space actually is all I'm doing. And I'm just using the slate gray for that. Now I'm going to come in and add a little bit of doodling here. Again, just filling space. It just looked a little plain to me. And then I'm coming in with a Prima type stamp, and I'm going to finger roll that on. Again, I'm just filling space. That's all I'm doing. Adding some texture, filling a little bit of space here and there. I'm going to stick that paper down. That's going to protect so I don't stamp where I don't want to. And I'm going to use that very same stamp, and I'm just going to go over the butterfly and the little foliage there. Again, I'm using a very light color there, and I'm going over the chocolate with the slate, so it's not going to hurt anything. All right, there's that circle stamp I told you about. I've ripped it up, and I'm just going to go ahead and rip it a little bit more. I'm going to get out my Liquitex medium and kind of brush over the back of this and stick it onto that pocket that sits on the left-hand side there. After I do this, I will be adding a little piece from one of those strips, you know, the strips that come on the paper cardstock. And this one's from Close to My Heart. I can't even remember which one it is, but it had all these tabs on it. And I thought, ooh, I like this. I like this. Be an original. And believe me, Crazy Cat is an original. This is perfect for her. All right, so here it is, friends. Here it is. There's the folder, the front with our Tim Holtz tissue. Then you can see that we actually have created 2 pocket spaces. There's our Clover, and then there's a picture that I have of Clover, and I just have some printing on the back just to have something on there. And actually more could fit in these pockets than what's there now if I so choose to do that. So that's kind of nice. It gives me a little more room to put a few more things in. Now this, I'm not even going to talk about. Just pretend like you don't even see it. All right, we're going to flip the page. That's the next video. All right, now the back of our folder. This is actually an animal skull that I found in my barn. And then I've got some pictures of some flowers. So there's the back of our folder. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm so happy you were here for this project. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'm going to leave links for you for all of the Crazy Cat Saddlebag Journal videos that I've done thus far. Like I said, that piece there on the right, we're going to talk about that one in the next video. So come and join me. You know, hit the like if you got anything from this video or you just enjoyed it. And I invite you to subscribe so you don't miss any of Crazy Cat's crazy stuff. All right, have a great week. Bye.